Hey everyone, welcome to my magic studio. It's Beth here, and I'm doing a quick tarot reading to connect to the energies of this week as it pertains to people in their creative lives, making art, making music, writing. Like, what do we need to focus on? What are the major themes? Not Mars, Mercury has entered Cancer today and we'll be in Cancer all month, and then is going to go retrograde at the end of the month, I think, and then is going to be retrograde for most of July, and then going back through. So we have this extended Mercury in Cancer time, and then we have the big conjunction next week of Venus and Jupiter in Cancer. So a lot going on in Cancer. The moon rules Cancer. And so we are thinking about our connections, our home, our family, our community, our neighbors, our connection to the great goddess, our just our well, I was listening to Chani this morning, and she was talking about the third space. And this is such an important concept to me. And my brother and I have had many conversations about this, about the loss of the third space. So it's this space where people go to meet, like the meeting house, the commons, the church, the temple, the marketplace, like whatever it is. It's this space where people come together in community to just do things, share things, chit chat, grow food, just exchange news, that kind of thing. And that has always been essential. Like, more essential than anything. Like, so much emphasis is put on the family, the family, the family. Well, the family is it isn't I think has been secondary to, in certainly in our past, in our ancestry, to this idea of the third place. And so I love that Chani spoke about this today as it pertains to this month and this great conjunction, because it's what we're losing, and it's what we need to bring our focus back into. So with that, how does that pertain to our art? Well, the third space would be like people connecting around our music or our writing or our art, like our engagement with the public and the local public. And so people could come to a concert or an art gallery opening, and they would exchange news and have a drink and have a chit chat and connect in this free space. And yeah, it's a big deal for artists to think about these kinds of spaces. And so other than that, I think, it's like not it maybe it's like a more subdued week for some people, where we can possibly catch up on things, rest. How about catching up on rest? Okay, let's read the cards and see what they have to say about all that. Okay, well, the Eight of Pentacles is telling us to get to work this week. So much for resting. And the Knight of Pentacles. Oh my God. Okay. Yeah. So, like, the cards are saying something completely different. So there we go. And the Star. Oh, I love that. I love that. Okay. So, wow, I love these cards. Okay. So the Eight of Pentacles is one of my favorite cards because I think the Eight of Pentacles like saved my life. I think it really did as an artist, because I have been very ADD, or, autistic or whatever. Like, I have been super distracted and in my life. I've always struggled with focus and getting just bringing my focus to the right thing and getting something done. Like that has always been a really big struggle of mine. And it was, I started, working with the tarot when I was like 20. And, it took me a like many years to, because back then, way back in the dark ages, it was a lot more difficult to work with the tarot. In the early 90s, it had only been it had only been legal for, a little over a decade, no, maybe 2 decades, but not very long. And so there was still a lot of kind of fear and discouragement and hidden stuff around the tarot, and the choices in tarot were very minimal as well. And so anyway, that to say, although I had been working with the tarot for many years, it wasn't until I started finding decks that really worked for me, where all of a sudden, and that was the Gaian tarot, like the Gaian tarot that really was my first, my first really powerful tarot deck. And it was, well, maybe it was the Mother piece. Anyway, doesn't matter. All I'm trying to say, I'm really chatty this morning. All I'm trying to say is that the Eight of Materials started to get me to focus. And it's not like she looks like she's focused, but that's kind of how that looks like the inside of my brain. And it allowed me to just do something, just just do anything. Like, if I'm having a freak out, just do something. Like, do a drawing. Like that was my biggest, just sit down and do a drawing. If I'm like blah, like then sit down and do a drawing, or sit down and, organize my sharpen my pencils, or whatever I'm doing, like get some gesso on some canvases, like get something done, like make a step towards my goals. And the Knight of Pentacles is saying the exact same thing. She's kind of talking about maybe multitasking, like, okay, get this done and get this done, like get a lot done, like she's saying work, like get to work. And the Knight of Pentacles is saying get to work, but like do do, do the steps it takes. Like, you can get overwhelmed thinking about, oh, I'm here and I want to be here. And, but it's like, okay, chunk it down and work backwards. Like, what would it take to get there? And what are the steps? What are the big steps? And the big goals that will get me to that biggest goal. And then what's the first one that I can take? What's the first goal that I can tackle, and then chunk that down to monthly, weekly, and daily tasks. And so this is what the Knight is telling us to do. So she's telling us to get to work, and the Knight is telling us how to chunk those big goals down and work backwards until we have something tangible that we can do today that is going to eventually get us over here. So it's like a plan with steps. And the best way to do that is see the big goal and work backwards, and go from macro to down to micro. And then how beautiful the star. And so the star is exactly what it is. It's our guiding star. It's our North Star. And I think that's a really, really essential thing to focus on this week. I mean, I think it's an essential thing to focus on all the time, every week, every day. If we're not connected to our North Star, and who was that, Martha Beck, that wrote that book about the North Star? But I mean, it's not. It's just a general concept of we need guiding lights. We need guiding stars. We need vision. And look at that vision, her third eye. We need vision to see what we want into the future. We need to like have a goal, and that goal has to be aligned with our values. If our values are this and our goal is over here, that it was a goal that our parents set for us, or our society, or our spouse, or whatever, like if it's someone else's goal and it has actually nothing to do with who you are going to be in conflict, and you're going to be blocked, and it's just, you know, you're working against your nature. Excuse me. So finding your North Star, that is your dream, your vision, that is aligned with your values and aligned with the truth of who you are. And that will get you to you know, find the earthly thing that is related to that goal, to that North Star. So there's the North Star up here, this vision, and then there's an earthly thing. I'll make it so it's fine. There's an earthly thing down here that's like pentacles down in the base chakras, you know, down in our root chakras are the pentacles, and the star is way up here in our crown chakra and our third eye, our brow. And so I don't know why I'm bringing chakras into this, but it kind of makes sense. And so we're like bringing this down into our roots and saying, okay, what is my earthly goal that has to do with this vision? And so we get those like figured out and then we get to work doing stuff to get there. So I love that. I mean, that's what I'm gonna do this week. That's what I'm doing this week, because there is no time wasted ever in doing this stuff. And especially because next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday are the big days for this Jupiter-Venus conjunction, which is all about manifesting our dreams. And so let's pick a Sacred Creators card. And what's your honest truth? There you go. Number 20, I think. I need new glasses. Yes, what's your honest truth? So this is the card that aligns with the Judgment card in the tarot, the Awakening card. And so we are looking for our truth this week. Like, we have to be so true to our dreams, our visions, our desires, because it's kind of a restful week for you, I hope. It's a really, really great time to get clear on those visions. When you wake up in the morning, let that be the first thing you think about. You know, stay in bed for 5 minutes and just connect to your body, connect to your breath, and connect to your dreams and your desires and your visions. And then right before you go to sleep, do the same thing, and do that every day this week. And then do some goal setting. Chunk those goals into doable tasks that you can do a little bit each day. And you know, this is kind of how I live my life. I say kind of because it's, you know, it's sort of integrated, and I'm not always conscious of it, but there are times throughout the month and throughout the year that I bring it all together again, and I get really conscious about how I'm doing all this. And yeah, I wish that for all of you too. So thanks for watching. Have a great week. Again, like, comment, subscribe, share, like all that stuff. Yeah, just, just so I know you're out there, and it's worth it for me. It's worth it for you that I keep doing this. So thanks a lot, everyone. And we'll see you on Friday. Okay, bye.